The end of Nike? Is NKE stock dead money? Is Lululemon about to dethrone the king? Nike is a growth company that is barely growing these days. Do you know that Nike stock is part of the Dow 30 index? Do you know Disney is also part of the Dow 30? Nike and Disney stock are worth about the same in market cap. Disney stock has been decimated by Netflix lately. At the same time, Lululemon has been taking the lunch money from Nike. At least for the stock investors. Is NKE stock dead money now? I will explain.
How you like that? How you like that? Nah. Look at you, now look at me. Look at you.
Nike shares tanked 11.8% on Friday toward one of their worst performance ever since Nike went public in 1980. After the sportswear giant issued a stark warning about its sales outlook, dragging down another athletic-focused retail stocks in the process. Nike's big business for fiscal 2023, Nike brand and Converse sales in the United States accounted for approximately 43% of total revenues, compared to 40% and 39% for fiscal 2022 and fiscal 2021, respectively. The rest is international market. Nike sells to thousands of retail accounts and ships products from 67 distribution centers outside of the United States. In addition to Nike-owned and Converse-owned digital commerce platforms in over 40 countries, Nike has over 660 retail stores outside of the U.S. It has over 360 stores inside the U.S. Nike's lunch table, the competition. The athletic footwear, apparel, and equipment industry is highly competitive on a worldwide basis. Nike competes international with a significant number of athletic and leisure footwear companies, athletic and leisure apparel companies, sports equipment companies, and large companies having diversified lines of authentic and leisure footwear. Apparel and equipment including Adidas, Anta, Asics, Li Ning, Lululemon Athletica, New Balance, Puma, Under Armour, and VF Corporation, among others. The intense competition and the rapid changes in technology and consumer preferences in the markets for athletic and leisure footwear and apparel and athletic equipment constitute significant risk factors in their operations. The plunge came after Nike, in its earnings report posted after Thursday's market close, slashed its outlook for revenue in its current fiscal year ending next May, citing an expected year-over-year decline in the ongoing holiday quarter, tied in part to a weak e-commerce demand and supply chain issues. Nike said it would cut jobs and expected sales to flag as consumer spending faltered, in another sign that the narrative around the resilient consumer is fading. Nike CFO Matt Friend said that the weaker sales outlook follows indications of more cautious consumer behavior all around the world, pointing to markets in China and Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. Friday was also a bloodbath for many of Nike's athletic apparel peers, despite broader market gains. Europe's Adidas, JD Sports, and Puma fell more than 5% apiece, while Dick's Sporting Goods down 4%. Foot Locker down 5%, and Lululemon down 1%. Each fell considerably. Speaking of Lululemon, Athletica is principally a designer, distributor, and retailer of technical athletic apparel. footwear and accessories. From a yoga pant niche brand, today they are challenging Nike's footwear business. Their purpose is to elevate human potential by helping people feel their best. Although Lulu's largest customer base is made up of guests who shop our women's range, representing 65% of our 2022 net revenue, we also design a comprehensive men's line and have targeted strategy in place. Revenue from our men's range is growing as more guests discover the technical vigor and premium quality of our men's products and are attracted by our distinctive brand. North America is Lulu's largest market by geographical split, representing 84% of our 2022 net revenue. We are expanding international across China, the rest of Asia, Pacific, and Europe. We are expanding in these regions via a decentralized model, allowing for local community insight and consumer preference to inform our strategic expansion. China only accounts for 15% of Lululemon's revenue. The market in China is new and growing. That's why when you see Lulu's stock and growth rate, it's not affected by the slowdown in China at all. You can see most of Lulu's employees are in North America, which is the fastest growing part of the market in the world. Now, Lulu is valued at $66 billion today and rising, while Nike is valued at $164 billion and falling. Which pair of shoes are you going to put on? Nike's mission, our mission is to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world, which includes the belief that if you have a body, you are an athlete. Nike CEO John J. Donahoe, President and Chief Executive Officer, 63 years old, was appointed President and Chief Executive Officer in January 2020 and has been a director since 2014. He brings expertise in digital commerce, technology, and global strategy. He previously served as president and chief executive officer at ServiceNow Incorporation, a big tech cloud computing software company. Prior to joining ServiceNow Incorporation, he served as president and chief executive officer of eBay Incorporation. Nike's uninspiring top-line trends are concerning and suggestive of insufficient newness and innovation, suggesting Nike's $2 billion major cost-cutting initiative over the next 3 years suggested significant layoffs are looming, as it plans to incur as much as $450 million in severance costs. But it's not enough to justify a higher valuation. It also gave a softer revenue outlook of about 1% growth for its current fiscal year compared to a prior projection of mid-single digits. Nike is the largest seller of athletic footwear and apparel in the entire world. Nike remains by far the most valuable American apparel company with a market capitalization of $165 billion. Shares have returned minus 6% in 2023, including dividends, far worse than the S&P 500's return of 26%. The Oregon-based Sneaker King stock slump has stretched back several years, as Nike has underperformed the S&P on a 2-year, 3-year, and 5-year basis. Nike's struggles came as growth rates slowed significantly. Cost of revenue has increased, while the revenue growth slowed quite a lot. North America fiscal 2023 compared to fiscal 2022. North America revenues increased 18% on a currency neutral basis, primarily due to higher revenues in men's and the Jordan brand. Nike direct revenues increased 18%, driven by strong digital sales growth of 23%, comparable store sales growth of 9%, and the addition of new stores. Footwear revenues increased 22% on a currency-neutral basis, primarily due to higher revenues in men's and the Jordan brand. Unit sales of footwear increased 17%, while higher average sales price per pair contributed approximately 5% points of footwear revenue growth. Apparel revenues increased 9% on a currency-neutral basis, primarily due to higher revenues in men's. Greater China 2023, Greater China revenues increased 4% on a currency-neutral basis, primarily due to higher revenues in the Jordan brand, partially offset by lower revenues in men's and women's. Nike Direct revenues increased 5% due to comparable store sales growth of 9% and the addition of new stores, partially offset by digital sales declines of 4%. Footwear revenues increased 8% on a currency-neutral basis, primarily due to higher revenues in the Jordan brand and men's. Apparel revenues decreased 7% on a currency-neutral basis, primarily due to lower revenues in men's and women's. Unit sales of apparel decreased 8%. Converse business. Fiscal 2023 compared to fiscal 2022, Converse revenues increased 8% on a currency-neutral basis for fiscal 2023 due to revenue growth in North America, Western Europe, and licensee markets, partially offset by declines in Asia. Wholesale revenues increased 7% on a currency-neutral basis as growth in North America and Western Europe was partially offset by declines in Asia due to marketplace dynamics in China. So overall, as you can see from all the revenue breakdown, Nike's operation is mainly hurt by China. Chinese like hot new brands, in my opinion. Nike's China market is maturing, so when China is weak, it doesn't perform. North America is growing double digits, so does the rest of the international market, double-digit growth, excluding Greater China.
Have a very, very happy holiday season. Subscribe, like, turn on those notifications. Peace, hearts.
Nike's $2 billion cost-cutting Save to Invest plan will focus on product innovation, storytelling, and competitive separation, CEO John said. Nike's Jordan brand, women's, and running shoe businesses need investments to reach their full potential. CEO said the Jordan brand is on a path to become the second biggest footwear brand in North America. At the same time, about 40% of Nike's customers are women, and their demand for more products is growing. Nike has experimented with offering its existing products at different price points, including its selection of women's leggings and bras. Broader economic challenges don't signal weakness in the Nike brand, but rather reflect difficulties that many other companies are facing. In my view, Nike can still rebound out of a tough market from China. I am optimistic about Nike investing in women's categories, in Jordans, and in big innovation cycle to gain shares. These changes will take time, but I think over a medium-term time horizon, I think we should see them reaccelerate growth. Lulu's purpose is helping people feel their best, which sounds like to seek pleasure. These days, that seems to resonate with people. Nike's mission is to inspire and empower us to be our own athlete through their innovation. I will be a buyer when the price is right. I don't think Nike is dead. In the long term, I still believe Nike has a better brand than Lulu. Merry Christmas, everyone, and a Happy New Year.
Okay, good. Good.
Oh.
Subscribe, like, turn on those notifications. Peace, hearts.